Marty, I've heard you say that women run on people power. What do you mean by this?
Well, that's just my shorthand way of telling advertisers that when you're advertising to women, one of the things that you definitely want to do is to show people in your ads. And I actually sometimes feel like, wow, that's so simplistic, but so many advertisers have told me I didn't realize, because they were very often focusing on their product or saying, it was made with the finest peat moss, if they were talking about, a whiskey or something like that, or they wanted to talk about how their state-of-the-art transmission system if it was a car. But women, if you're trying to catch their attention, and that's always the first task in advertising, you have to show people in the advertising. And that's because women are fundamentally more interested in people than they are in things and theorems, which is, relatively speaking, what men are more interested in than people. So let me be specific here. Scientists have done some tests, and I think intuitively people have thought for a long time that women are more interested in people, although to tell the truth, what they've been saying is that women are all about relationships, and I don't agree with that. Women are about so much more than relationships. I'm just talking about this one specific point, about if you're trying to catch their attention and you're trying to translate your product's benefits into something that's really meaningful to women, you want to use the context of people to do that. So scientists did experiments and showed that from the first day they were born, female babies were more likely to spend twice as much time as male babies looking at the women that they could see from their crib, whereas male babies were twice as likely as the female babies to spend time looking at a black and white mobile that was very near their crib. So there was that experiment. There have been a number of other experiments that have confirmed that the female brain somehow is just more oriented towards other people, whereas the male men tend to prefer, or are more interested than women are, I should say, in things and theorems, as psychologists call it, and that's what you would imagine. Men are interested in concrete things like cars or computers or PDA, smartphones these days are the big ones, right? And they're also more interested in abstract concepts. They will much sooner than men will try to translate that into, yeah, but you know what? Lindsay has always liked sports cars better. So Lindsay is going, so they want to take it to the specific person. Now what this means in terms of advertising is that when you're doing a print ad or a TV ad or something on the web, you want to show people. You don't want to just show a bottle of your product or a picture of your beautiful car. Yes, you want to include that, but if there are no people anywhere, that's not going to get women to stop and pay attention, as well as having actually people in the ad. So people power. And you know what's interesting about people power is that it doesn't even have to be real people. First of all, it doesn't have to be women. All right, women are interested in all people, whether it's women, men, kids, whatever. So it could be an ad that only has men in it, but not just a car, all right? And it doesn't have to be live people. So one of my favorite campaigns was a Charles Schwab ad from a couple of years ago, I think. And it had very engaging illustrations of people. In fact, it almost looked to me like maybe they started out being live, but then by the time they were on TV, there were these really nice illustrations. Or it doesn't even have to be human beings people. What do I mean by that? The Gecko campaign, the Geico Gecko, is very much a people-powered campaign because that little guy has a ton of personality and lots of facial expressions. So I do mean showing personality, and to do that, you really need to show the character's face. So what have I seen? I've seen health and beauty, body lotions and stuff like that that show knees and elbows. Doesn't count. Not people power. Recognize that as part of people, but it doesn't count. So this is one of the very simplest tips that I give people. People always ask me, what's the one thing that people could do differently? Well, a lot of marketers are already using people in their ads, but a lot of marketers aren't. And if you recognize that women run on people power, that is going to add so much more interest to your advertising, makes a much better connection with women, and will really drive your ability to bring your message home.